Hello students, today we are going to understand planning in management. The objectives. At the end of this session, you should be able to define the nature of planning in management, cite the importance of planning in management, enumerate the characteristics of planning, outline the advantages and disadvantages of planning. Dear students, in the previous session, we have gone through the fundamental aspects of management. In this session, we will discuss about the nature, importance, characteristics, advantages and disadvantages of planning process in management. Let's get on to the introduction first. Imagine a situation where a person goes for shopping. By default, the primary aim would be to buy required items at reasonable price. Now suddenly, number of questions pops up in the mind of this person. What should I buy? From where to buy? How will I reach there? Will I be able to come back at the right time? And so on and so forth. To make his shopping a success, he should plan in advance. Hence, it is very important for everyone to plan for the daily activities in order to handle our daily chores at home and workplace. Let's begin to understand the objectives of planning in detail as we proceed with this session. Planning. A plan is a determined course of action for achieving a specific objective. An individual may prepare a plan for his journey or tour or for a family function. Similarly, a business unit may prepare a plan to achieve a particular objective. It is called a business plan, which includes production plan, sales plan, and so on. A business unit prepares a master plan for the whole unit. Such master plan is again divided into departmental plans for actual execution. Planning is a process of thinking to action. It is a means to achieve well-defined objectives. Business plan and business planning move together. Planning is the primary function of management and occupies the first position in the management process. It could also be considered as a starting point of the whole management process, as other management functions are related to planning function. Planning, in simple words, means to decide the objectives clearly and to prepare a plan. Thereafter, suitable steps need to be taken in order to execute the plan. Planning function is performed by managers at all levels. It is basically deciding the objective to be achieved and taking up suitable follow-up steps for achieving the same. Planning is now universally accepted as a key or a passport to success, progress and prosperity in the business as well as in all other aspects of life. It acts as a base of all purposeful human activities. The concept of planning is old enough. Planning was advocated by Confucius almost 2500 years ago. He said, "A man who does not think and plan long ahead will find trouble right at his door." Thus, planning is the center around which all business activities move. In planning, various business problems are studied, decisions are taken regarding the future course of action, and business activities are adjusted accordingly. Thus, planning clearly means deciding in advance the objectives to be achieved and preparing plans or programs for achieving them. In other words, planning is the process of foreseeing desired objectives, anticipating problems, and developing solutions. It also serves as a core of the whole management process. Planning basically bridges the gap from where we are to where we want to go. In the absence of planning, events are left to chance. A plan is today's projection for tomorrow's activity. According to Kuntz and O'Donnell, planning is deciding in advance what to do, how to do it, when to do it, and who's to do it. Planning also bridges the gap between where we are and where we want to go. It makes it possible for things to occur which would not happen otherwise. According to George R. Terry, planning is the selecting and relating of facts and the making and using of assumptions regarding the future in the visualization and formulation of purposed activities believed necessary to achieve desired results. According to Philip Kotler, planning is deciding in the present what to do in the future. It is the process whereby companies reconcile their resources with their objectives and opportunities. Now let's discuss the characteristics of planning. Planning means looking ahead and chalking out future course of action. These actions are to be strictly followed. It is a preparatory step It is a systematic activity which determines when, how and who is going to perform a specific job. Planning is also a detailed program regarding future courses of action. It is rightly said, well planned is half done. Therefore, planning takes into consideration available and prospective human and physical resources of the organization so as to get effective coordination, contribution and perfect adjustment. It is the basic management function which includes formulation of one or more detailed plans to achieve optimum balance of needs or demands with the available resources. The following are the statements that describe the features of the planning process. Firstly, planning is an intellectual process. Planning is an intellectual process of thinking in advance. It is a process of deciding the future on the series of events to follow. Planning is a process where a number of steps are to be taken to decide the future course of action. Managers or executives have to consider various courses of action, achieve the desired goals, go in details of the pros and cons of every course of action, and then finally decide what course of action may best suit them. Second, planning contributes to the objectives. Planning contributes positively in attaining the objectives of the business enterprise. Since plans are there from the very first stage of the operation, the management is able to handle every problem successfully. Plan tries to set up everything right. A purposeful, sound and effective planning process knows how and when to tackle a problem. This leads to success. Objectives thus are easily achieved. Third, planning is a primary function of management. Planning precedes other functions in the management process. Certainly, setting of goals to be achieved and lines of action to be followed precedes the organization, direction, supervision and control. No doubt, planning precedes other functions of management. It is primary requisite before other managerial functions step in. But all functions are interconnected. It is mixed in all managerial functions, but there too it gets precedence. It thus gets primary everywhere. Fourth, planning is a continuous process. Planning is a continuous process and a never-ending activity of a manager in an enterprise based upon some assumptions which may or may not come true in the future. Therefore, the manager has to go on modifying, revising and adjusting plans in the light of changing circumstances. According to George R. Terry, planning is a continuous process and there is no end to it. It involves continuous collection, evaluation, and selection of data and scientific investigation and analysis of the possible alternative courses of action and the selection of best alternative. Fifth, planning pervades managerial activities. From primary of planning follows pervasiveness of planning. It is the function of every managerial personnel. The character, nature and scope of planning may change from personnel to personnel, but the planning as an action remains intact. According to Billy E. Goetz, plans cannot make an enterprise successful. Action is required. The enterprise must operate. Managerial planning seeks to achieve a consistent, coordinated structure of operations focused on desired trends. Without plans, action must become merely activity producing nothing but chaos. Prominence of planning in management. An organization without planning is like a sailboat without its rudder. Without planning, organizations are subject to the winds of organizational change. Planning is one of the most important and crucial functions of management. According to Kuntz and O'Donnell, without planning, business becomes random in nature and decisions become meaningless and ad hoc choices. According to George R. Terry, planning is the foundation of most successful actions of any enterprise. Planning becomes necessary due to the following reasons. Reduction of uncertainty. Future is always full of uncertainties. A business organization has to function in these uncertainties. It can operate successfully if it is able to predict the uncertainties. Some of the uncertainties can be predicted by undertaking systematic forecasting. Thus, planning helps in foreseeing uncertainties which may be caused by changes in technology, fashion and taste of people, government rules and regulations, etc. Better utilization of resources. An important advantage of planning is that it makes effective and proper utilization of enterprise resources. It identifies all such available resources and makes optimum use of these resources. Planning also increases organizational effectiveness. Planning ensures organizational effectiveness. Effectiveness ensures that the organization is in a position to achieve its objective due to increased efficiency of the organization. It reduces the cost of performance. Planning assists in reducing the cost of performance. It includes the selection of only one course of action amongst the different courses of action that would yield the best results at minimum cost. It removes hesitancy, avoids crisis and chaos, eliminates false steps and protects against improper deviations. Concentration on objectives. It is a basic characteristic of planning that it is related to organizational activities. Although operations are planned to achieve the organizational objectives, planning also facilitates the achievement of objectives by focusing attention on them. It requires the clear definition of objectives so that most appropriate alternative courses of action are chosen. It helps in coordination. Good plans unify the interdepartmental activity and clearly lay down the area of freedom in the development of various sub-plans. Various departments work in accordance with the overall plans of the organization. Thus, there is harmony in the organization and duplication of efforts and conflict of jurisdiction are avoided. Inseparable in the sense that unplanned action cannot be controlled because control involves keeping activities on the predetermined course by rectifying deviations from plans. Planning helps control by furnishing standards of performance. Encouragement to innovation. Planning also helps innovative and creative thinking among the managers because many new ideas come to the mind of a manager when he is planning. It creates a forward-looking attitude among the managers. Increase in competitive strength. Effective planning gives a competitive edge to the enterprise over other enterprises that do not have planning or have ineffective planning. This is because planning may involve expansion of capacity, changes in work methods, changes in quality, anticipation of tastes and fashions of people, and technological changes, etc. Delegation is facilitated. A good plan always facilitates delegation of authority in a better way to subordinates. Now let's discuss the advantages of planning in management. The following are the major advantages of planning process in management. Facilitates quick achievement of objectives. Planning facilitates quick achievement of business objectives. In the planning process, the objectives to be achieved are clearly decided or finalized and plans are prepared and executed for achieving such well-defined objectives. Planning also ensures achievement of objectives in an orderly and quick manner. It brings unity of purpose and direction. Planning brings unity of purpose and direction before the entire organization as it is for achieving certain well-defined goals. Planning diverts all resources in one direction for achieving well-defined objectives. Ensures full utilization of resources. Planning ensures effective or maximum utilization of available human and material resources. It also eliminates wastages of all kinds of material resources and human efforts, and this ensures fuller utilization of available resources. Avoids inconsistency in efforts. Planning avoids inconsistency in efforts and also avoids possible frictions and duplications. It ensures economy in business operations. Raises competitive capacity or strength. Planning raises competitive potentialities of a business unit. It enables a business unit to stand with confidence in a competitive market. It keeps ready solutions for possible problems and enables a business unit to function with confidence. Promotes managerial efficiency. Planning promotes managerial efficiency. It covers all managerial functions and helps management to execute future programs in a systematic manner. It makes managerial direction and control effective. Avoids hasty decisions and actions. Due to planning, hasty decisions and haphazard actions by managers are avoided. It also encourages systematic thinking by the managers. Planning facilitates effective delegation of authority, removes communication gaps, and thereby raises overall efficiency. It even encourages innovative thinking among managers. Ensures effective control on the organization. Planning also ensures effective control on the whole organization. It fixes targets in clear terms and draws and plans programs for achieving them. This facilitates effective control on the functioning of the business unit. Acts as an insurance agent against future uncertainties. Planning acts as an insurance against future uncertainties. It takes care of business uncertainties. In fact, in planning, future problems and situations are studied in advance and alternative solutions are kept ready. This enables management to face any type of critical situation with ease and confidence. Facilitates other managerial functions. Planning also facilitates other managerial functions. It is the basic managerial function, and other managerial functions such as organizing, etc. move as per the plans prepared. It acts as a motivating force behind other managerial functions. Improves motivation. Planning facilitates participation of managers and workers in the normal functioning of an enterprise. It develops team spirit and raises morale and motivation of employees. Workers know what is expected from them. This ensures higher degree of efficiency from them. Planning also provides training to managers. It serves as a tool for manpower development in any organization. Now let's discuss the disadvantages of planning in management. The following are the disadvantages of performing a planning activity during the management process. It is very time consuming and costly. It is argued that planning is a lengthy process as it involves collection of data, forecast, research and analysis. Similarly, planning is essentially the job of highly paid experts. As a result, planning is a time consuming and costly activity. Only large firms can undertake planning due to heavy cost and lengthy procedure involved in it. It is also ineffective due to environmental changes. Business environment changes frequently and plans are required to be adjusted as per the changes in situation through suitable modifications. However, such revision or modification creates a number of problems. Such adjustments in the operational plan are always costly and time consuming. Dangers of unreliable data. Planning needs accurate data from internal as well as external sources. The quality of planning depends on such accurate feedback. If the information supplied by various departments is unreliable, the planning process will be adversely affected. Planning based on incomplete information may prove to be even dangerous. In brief, plans based on unreliable data are not useful or effective. Securing reliable information is always difficult, and this brings deficiencies in the entire planning process. Encroachment on individual freedom and initiative. Planning is a centralized process. At the lower levels, plans are to be executed as per the directives issued. This affects individual freedom and initiative at the lower levels. Employees at the lower levels act as instruments for the execution of plan prepared by the top level managers. People are asked to become cogs in the machine with little scope for initiative or independent thinking. It also delays actions. Planning is a lengthy process. As a result, the actions to be taken for execution are delayed. Planning is not useful when quick decisions and actions are required. It's very unsuitable for small firms. Small firms prefer to function without long-term comprehensive planning as they find planning rather costly and time-consuming. They prefer to face the situations as they come. Similarly, quick decisions and prompt actions are necessary in the case of certain business activities. Here, long-term planning is not suitable. Limited practical value. It is argued that planning is too theoretical and has limited practical utility. Planning takes long time for preparation and the situation changes when such plans are ready for execution. Planning, for example, is not suitable in the case of speculative business. It is also not useful for taking quick benefits of business opportunities. In brief, planning has limited practical value. No guarantee of expected results. Planning is for achieving certain well-defined objectives. However, there is no guarantee that the objectives will be achieved within the specific time limit by using planning as a tool. Actual performance may not be as per the expectation due to various reasons. Thus, planning has an element of uncertainty. Planning leads to probable results and not the expected results. It gives benefits but may not be exactly as per the expectation. Thus, there is no guarantee that planning will give 100% positive or expected results. It also generates frustration. At the lower levels, plans are imposed on the employees. No consideration is given to their difficulties, views and opinions. The targets may be too ambitious and the employees may not be able to achieve them in spite of their best efforts. This leads to frustration among employees at lower levels. It involves huge paperwork. Planning involves huge paperwork in the preparation of master plan and departmental plans. Danger of overdoing. Sometimes planners overload the workers. Elaborate reports are prepared without practical utility. The advantages of planning are more important or significant while its limitations are few and also not of serious nature. Moreover, these limitations can be minimized. The practical utility of planning is universally accepted. It is not fair to give up the concept of planning due to certain limitations. The better alternative is to make it more effective, purposeful and result-oriented. Now let's get on to the conclusion. In this session, we discussed about the nature, importance, characteristics, advantages and disadvantages of the planning process in management. Planning is the primary function of management and occupies the first position in the management process. It is the starting point of the whole management process as other management functions are related to planning function. In designing an environment for the effective performance of individuals working together in a group, a manager's most essential task is to see that everyone understands the group's mission and objectives and the methods for attaining them. If group effort is to be effective, people must know what they are expected to accomplish. This is the function of planning. It is the most basic of all the managerial functions. Planning involves selecting missions and objectives and deciding on the actions to achieve them. It requires decision making, that is, choosing a course of action from among alternatives. Plans thus provide a rational approach to achieving pre-selected objectives. By going through this session, we got to know that the planning process bridges the gap from where we are to where we want to go.